Good morning, everybody. Good morning from another beautiful sunny day here in the Philippines, and very windy, and the wind's coming straight out of the north, which is so nice. We got this day started already. Mont and them, I'll show what they're doing here in just a minute. But I had a couple other little projects that got started on this morning. One of those projects is right here on this old well pump. It's not been working right. In fact, we haven't used it in a while now. Stopped pumping correct. Now, may need a new gasket inside or a seal around that plunger. I did pour some water down it and got it to pump just a little bit, but very, very weak, and the handle just kind of dropped. So something's not right in it. We're going to get it apart and check it out. They sell the parts just right, literally up the street from us right here. So no big deal. So that we'll get that apart right there. He's pulling the bolts now. Show you what else has been going on. And over here by the boat, I have been making up compost and stuff and putting in the bottom of these pots, and actually even mixing some fertilizer and putting in there also, and kind of letting it sit so it's not so strong. And today we topped them off with a little bit more soil and just now poured some water over and let that soak and get the muddiness like off the top of it here a little bit. And I'm going to plant some seeds in these. Hadn't decided which ones yet. Just gonna wing it. But this is in the shade back here and gets a little bit of sunlight, a little bit more in the evening and the afternoon comes in. And I keep it out of the direct heat, kind of baby them here for a while, and by then, when they're up, whatever I plant, if they survive and they're getting up good, well then it should be rainy season by then. I could probably put them out into the direct sun. Francis and Mont, they're here retouching the skim coat on these columns, especially where we had chipped back and stuff in there for putting in these little bars. And they get that. We marine epoxied around these also, so trying to keep moisture from going into those tubes. And this one here, it was really flaking bad, so I told them just scrape that thing on down and we'd retouch it. So that's what's happening on that. They're gonna retouch those, sand them later, and then we're gonna go ahead and paint them. They've never been painted. It was just raw skim coat. And then we'll paint these steel bars across here black. Joel's out the cabin putting more of that selenium coating over all of that bamboo, getting it all on there really good, paint it to keep all the little bugs and stuff from eating it away. So it don't look real bad, but this gasket may have got dried out. We didn't use the pump for a while there. Could have dried it out. Got to back off this nut here because it seats it. Now try to spin that one off. Might have to get a wrench on it. There it goes. Yeah, see that? Hold on, let me see that. Don't do nothing yet. Stop. So this works like a check valve in the middle, and that's one of the problems with it right there. That little part right there was stuck. I heard it when it popped loose just then. That keeps the water, that's what makes it, keeps it from just falling right back down, you know. Is that's got to move. I heard it stuck in there. It popped loose when you were pulling on it. Yeah, it works like a little check valve. It's a block of rubber and it just floats around there. Yeah. But I'm gonna tell you, really, the gasket don't look bad. Clean all this up over there in the water. Clean it good, and then I'm gonna put some grease on it. So we got the pump pumping now. It didn't need any new parts. It just needed the seal had got dry from not using it. The little check valve was stuck down. It's just like a rubber block that pulls itself back down by gravity. Really simple. So greased it up, cleaned it up real good, greased it up real good, put it back together, and it's pumping like a charm now. But there's just so much slack in all of these parts, just years of use. You see all that slop in there. So what we're doing is taking the pin, like we got the one out of here right now, and we're welding it up some, and we're gonna regrind it and take that slack out, build some thickness back up on it there, get that slack out of it. Then we're gonna move down to another one, do the same thing, and build some metal back up on those pins. Some of the wear is in the outer part on here, and I really don't want to weld on that cast, but I can weld on that pin, and so we'll just build the pin up to take up some of the slack on it. And then we had to drill out one hole here. We had to drill it, and the bolt broke off in there, and retap it. Got that one retapped, and I went ahead and put a new bolt over here for this other one here too. Got it there, and just keep on working it over. And I really love using that pump, and so I want it all about working good, but I want to get rid of all that slack. Every time you pump, you know, you hear all this ka-clink, ka-clink, ka-clink. On this one, just put a little weld on the top up here, and then we'll grind it back smooth. You don't have to weld all the way around. That hole's mainly just wearing on one side, and we'll take that slop out. Kapow! So that was up here on the top sides. Will that pin come out too? Pull that pin out. Now you can set it right here where you're working, and just weld some around the top side. Yep. Just weld you some up across the top. Don't weld your hole up, and weld you some up. Just build that up a little thicker right there. Put your clamp right on that bare metal right there. Right on this bare metal. There you go. It make it. Yeah, run one more there. There you go. We'll grind that and see what it looks like if we need to weld it again. So I'm gonna have Miller take this brass brush here and just start going over this thing. Just hold it wide open, just hold it with two hands and go over it and just start going all around, cleaning this thing up everywhere, okay? You can hold it fast. Here. Now, hold it wide open. There you go. Just go all around all these screw heads, everywhere, all over it. Just knock out, you don't have to get that primer off. You don't have to get it to bare metal. Just knock off all the loose stuff, okay? Yeah, you don't have to try to make it like bare metal. Just get all the loose stuff off. It's all around. Go around all this up here, just everywhere. Just start knocking off all that grease and loose stuff. Yeah, you don't have no experience with that. Let me show you. All right, I got him going now. He's trying to be too gentle with it, like a baby. See where they dripped all that skim coat in here? Get all that old skim coat out and stuff. That's Marvin cleaning the buckets on the pump always. There you go. Now you're getting it right. You got some safety glasses put on because those little brass wires, they'll fly up and get right in your eye. Well, the boys are on break right now. We've been cleaning this pump up, re-welding all these parts. And this little part right here keeps this right here raised up. And if this isn't raised up, you see down and up, there's a valve in there. And when this is allowed to, this goes here, and when this is allowed to open, let this drop, it closes that valve and water pumps out here instead. And you can put a hose here and run it wherever you want, like a black pipe or whatever, rubber hose, and pump water, say like up into a tank or over the distance. It'll pump out this way instead of this way. And that was another problem, is this was always falling down and they had it all wired up. And I was looking at this, look how big of a hole they put there and what a small hole they put through here where it pins. And they just had a cotter key and it just flops on that. So I'm going to drill these holes out to match more with this, and I'm going to put a bolt all the way through so it has a nice even hinging on it right there. And this edge was wore off on here. We welded it up and I'm reshaping it, grinding it right now so it's got a good smooth lip. And I took the grinder blade and went around the bottom of this and dressed it too so it's nice and flat there again. And hopefully that'll all help hold it up. There it is. That'll solve that problem, I bet. Well, the guys are at lunch and I just finished up on the pump here. Check this out, I just got it all repainted and show you some key things we did here. It's not all perfect, but it's really good. So there was a bolt broken off in here before. We drilled it, I re-tapped it. These had two bolts here that were stripped out and they just squeezed down on the handle, and they would always end up working loose and the handle would always get really floppy in this hole. And we went through many handles. I got this piece of stainless, it's held up, but it was loose in here. So we found a piece of PVC that fit down in there that the pipe would fit in. We kind of shaved it some, made a sleeve, got it down in there. We drilled these holes all the way through. We took a torch and heated that PVC and took a wood block and a sledgehammer and drove it in there. It is 100% tight now. And I put a bolt all the way through it as well. I didn't put a nut on it. It's in there pretty good friction if I ever want to take the handle out, which I doubt it's going to come out easy, but it's possible. This had nails in it before. I put the cotter keys back in it. This had just a tiny little holes on the outside for a cotter key to slide through and hold this, that hinges and holds this part up. I knew that wasn't correct. So the middle hole was big, the out one was small. That was really silly on their part. I drilled that out, put a bolt all the way through. Of course, we took it apart and serviced it inside and got the check valve unstuck. It doesn't have a spring or any kind of hardware. It's just a big rubber block that can float up and down. And it had just, from just sitting, had dried and stuck itself down to the metal. So cleaned all that up, lubed up the seal in it, which is like a big leather seal. And all it needed too was just a little lubrication. I put a little grease on it and fresh water. It swelled up. It's fine. We welded up all these pins. We didn't get them perfect, but we built up a pretty good weld on them, then ground the weld and took out a lot of slack that was in all these joints and fixed all of that. And then we all took turns, myself, Miller, Mock, all three of us at different points in time, sanded and scraped around on it, cleaning it all up. So she is working like a charm now, man. She is working like a charm. And she's looking really good. See if I can get a direction here that the sun's not blowing it out. There you go. You can get you a pretty good look right there. Here it is, pumping nice and smooth. Check this out. Nice and quiet now. Very nice. Happy for that. Not a bunch of squeaking and noise and everything like before. It's very nice. I'm happy with it. I do a little follow-up what's been happening here. The guys got these all painted in. They were working on skim coating this and they ran out of skim coat, and I'll go buy them sometime in the next couple of days. Maybe tomorrow. I might decide to do it tomorrow, but it's almost ready to put those panels up. And then Joelle's continue to put that selenium all over this building right here, this cabin, man, and it just richened the color of that bamboo all back up all over again. We had been needing it to age and get the greenness out of it. Man, does it look good. So I think he's actually started coming back over it with a top coat also. I can smell it. You've already started putting the top coat also? Yep. Right here? Outside. Oh, you finished all the outside. I knew I could smell it. I've just left him alone. I hadn't bothered him whatsoever. So it's my first time even coming around out here today. Man, it does look good. I see that the color's really nice on it again. That's awesome. And then here, these are a set of gates we built before. And they go on that back drive right over on the other side of that white boat. But after we raised that drive up at that end where it used to launch there, and I had to extend it out, we had to reset the hinges. So we got that reset, we got those things greased, and they've been painting the gates all up now. We do have a set of hinges we need to get on this one right here though. So probably in the morning I'll have him drilling and getting this one hung, and I'll need to make a trip to City Hardware and buy skim coat and a set of hinges for this gate over here. And we rebuilt the pump today, man, and that just looks so good. It's like having a brand new pump, man. I'm so just happy with this, and it works perfect, man. It is just smooth, just really smooth. Very nice. Yep, very nice. Happy to get that too, man. I miss using this pump. This is something we really enjoy. Can't go wrong with some cilantro and have a nice little spice. Now we have some stuff here already growing around here. We have mint growing around here. We have basil. We have dill. Many different things. What else we got? We got quite a few. Lemongrass, all kinds of stuff growing around here. But currently, we don't have any cilantro. We used to have, but we hadn't had none in about maybe a year now. It's really nice. I think what I'm gonna do is make like 3 little rows in here, and see how it does. There's some of those seeds right here. Heirloom cilantro.